So lots of colours. Those bricks came from an expedition with my nephew to an organic pig farm the other side of Hepburn Springs. And yeah, I wanted some blue and colour in my recycled brick wall. We have a carport, and this block is actually the backyard of this house. So still quite big enough for a native garden, which I'm starting here. And down the side, there's some veggies and more native garden to screen me from the neighbours. So along there will be lots and lots of natives that will be nice and bushy. But I still have all that lovely north-facing sun coming in here on a winter's day. Yeah, look, it's a small build. It's meant to be a budget build, so it doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, but it has lovely light, has a very high ceiling so that it feels light and airy, even though it's a smaller build. It has 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a laundry and a toilet, so it's got enough for me. Built this last year, so with Brendan Wild and Wild Homes. I chose Brendan because I wanted a builder who would understand someone who wanted something a little bit different. You know, not your normal plaster brick veneer. So the windows are double glazed. They're not the best double glazed windows you can buy, but again, this build is to a budget, so they're working quite well. Inside in winter about 14 degrees with no heating, so put the heating on for a little bit each night and that's fine, yeah, and that's all it needs. The hot water's a heat pump, so I have that set to go on once a day in the afternoon when these solar panels will be providing the electricity. So that goes on once a day and heats up to 64 degrees, and then it drops a few degrees overnight, but still above the 50 degrees that your self-limiting valve will run your shower out anyway. So yeah, it works fine. So I've got a small solar system. It's just a 3 kilowatt. It was very budget conscious because of the solar rebate, so it worked out very well. Have a grow watt inverter, and yeah, that's pumping out a whole lot of excess kilowatts when the sun's shining. Got lots of insulation. I have more than is required for the 6-star, so I have three in the western wall. So the western wall was made thicker so that we could have extra insulation. The ceiling has R4.5, which is again extra than you needed, and the other walls, external walls, have 2.5, which is pretty standard. And that fits in with their 90mm stud that all the builders use. So yeah, so a few extras there, and also the internal walls are insulated as well. The air conditioning is a Mitsubishi Heavy Industries 7 kilowatt model. It has really good filtration systems and good for allergies, and it just does this main room. So yeah, it's heaps big enough. Probably could have got a smaller one, but I run it on eco, and it runs quite efficiently. Out into the garden, I'm really happy that I have a veggie garden here, and I'm also really happy that even though I've got a small block, I can have a native garden on 2 sides, 3 sides actually, and out the front on the nature strip. So I plan to have quite a thick native garden to provide habitat for birds and small animals, and yeah, also to give me privacy and shade. So waste is pretty simple. I'm composting some, use my green bin if I have lots and lots of weeds, and of course I recycle. So I try to have minimal waste. I maybe have 1 small bag a week of waste that goes out, but always trying to reduce. Being close to town, I can walk to a supermarket, I can walk to a post office, so very sustainable in those ways. I don't use my car a lot unless I'm going bushwalking somewhere. And yeah, it's just a lovely sunny small spot to be, and I haven't gone into a new subdivision. I haven't used up any of our precious forest land around Bendigo, so I'd like Bendigo to retain the city and the forest aspect, and being an infill build, yeah, that's a good way to get some more high density housing closer to Bendigo.
We have seen that there's a need for small houses that work really well, really for the environment and for the people that are going to live in them. Like, people don't need giant houses. So yeah, we just think there's a bit of a niche there, and yeah, we like it. Small, smart houses.
So tell me what you've done in this house that makes it really sustainable.
Well, look, we've made sure the insulation levels are quite high again. We've got the blanket under the roof line, then we've got bats in the ceiling. We've used internal wall bats to keep down the sound but also make the rooms work better. We've got the exposed concrete slab to heat up when it gets the sun on it. Window placement for cross ventilation. We actually made that thicker than a standard wall so we could fit 3.5 bats just to make it that, a bit more insulation on that west end. The old little light door and the ply on the ceiling, which is raked to just, even though it's a small house, it actually has a good spacious feeling to it with the raised ceiling, and it's just a bit of a nicer feature having a bit of ply, timber sort of feel in the room. Also, just remember the windows are thermally broken, aluminium double glaze, which are really efficient. So that was another good little feature for these windows. Definitely gets a lot of good northern sun into it. Yeah, very important.